I want to start with something funny.
Yeah, I mean, funny to us. I don't know if other people will laugh, but we're going to find out. Welcome to the Humanity Sales Podcast, where we talk about the marketing revolution that's happening in tech consulting and how the best businesses are elevating their brand, amplifying their message, and selling more by being more human. We're your hosts, Brandon Triola.
And I'm Nate Nettie. Let's get into it.
I think we've seen some crazy things happen. Like, we've had some crazy, funny scenarios happen. I think everybody in business, like, I would love to know the stories of some of these like tech consultants and these
Like
like
how they
global
got
tech
started.
companies. Like, what happens on their Zoom calls, or like what happens in their meetings? Like, they probably have the funniest things happen.
I don't know if this. I don't know if this could. This is, I guess, a good example of.
Hey, when the
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
we
we'll
put
not
music
touch-
over this, it's like like funny music, like they put on like blooper reels.
No, I don't think I want to tell that story.
Okay.
I think it's a little.
We'll leave it to people's.
Yeah, it's a funny story. It's not offensive at all. But
Now everybody wants
somebody
to
out
hear
there,
it. We have to tell it. You can't do that. Like, even you can't take someone to the edge and be like, and then leave them.
Yeah. So, I guess it is an example of how too many hands in the pot can create like something awful and tone deaf. And it actually wasn't us. We were on the receiving end of it. But like,
And for the record, we were trying to create something really human.
very human, very
It
inclusive.
was an ad campaign.
And so we showed this, this woman in consulting who is in a wheelchair, as part of representative of all people in consulting.
We're
Like,
just trying to be inclusive.
just
and
one
show
of
that
many
yes.
different kinds, shapes, types, ages, ableness, whatever. We're representing everyone in consulting. And the client changed the call to action without us knowing before it went live on the ad. And it was like the call to action was learn how to get moving.
Learn how to move forward.
But yeah, learn how to move forward.
Yeah. And then with the image of the lady in the wheelchair right next to
We
it.
saw it. We were like, who did this? What? And then, like, our team was like, no, it was the client. Like, before it went out of our hands into market, they just changed it because they thought it was a better call to action. And we were like, oh my gosh.
But that ad slapped.
It's tone deaf. It's very
That
tone
ad
deaf.
slapped though. Converted.
I guess it's a good segue into talking about the bureaucracy, how bureaucracy is just absolutely destroying creativity
Yeah, and I think
at giant companies.
in terms of just humanizing
Yeah.
the bureaucracy and just the nature of a business, it's not a human thing. Like, businesses are not human. So when your business grows, it's only going to become less human because it's only going to become more bureaucratic. So a lot of times the barriers to doing this stuff is just the structure of the thing that you're in.
It's just like a beast.
It's like a beast. Yeah.
And they're saying, make more money, make more money, make
Yeah.
more money. And you're saying, my arms are tied behind my back. I literally, what do you want me to do?
That's the irony, I think, because the irony is the way to grow and the way to stand out is to humanize everything about your business, your brand, from the top to the bottom. But businesses by nature it's not a human like structure. Like, the idea of businesses exist
To eliminate the humanity so that we can be more efficient, we can maximize, insert variable.
to make a profit,
Yeah.
which we love. Profits are great.
If you don't have money, you don't have a mission.
In
You
fact,
you can't
if you're
live your
not
mission.
making a profit, I would say you're probably in trouble for like a lot of the SaaS companies.
Hey, I want
out
to start
there,
a
right?
business and lose money.
Dude, how about
Said
this?
no one ever.
I saw like the tech bubble that's burst in SaaS is crazy right now. And I was following this thread, and this guy was saying basically that SaaS companies right now should just, if you can break even, you're good. If you can make $1 in revenue, if you're in the positive $1 per month or week or whatever it is, you're in a good spot. And I'm like, that's scary.
Yeah, it is kind of freaky.
Like, I cannot imagine being in an area where it's like that fragile.
Yeah.
So anyways,
Being more human. Business. That's where you were talking about how businesses by nature not human.
well, they're not. I mean, even running our own business, like, there's times where it's like, man, this doesn't feel very like empathetic today. This decision that I have to make doesn't feel very, you make one decision over here about something and somebody's not going to be happy with it over here.
Well, oftentimes, from my experience, from my seat as the CEO, I think that just by the nature of doing business, you have a binary choice. Either make money and impact some humans negatively, or lose money and impact some humans positively. I think I think what we'll start to see in the future is the elimination of this binary choice, and somehow businesses will start to figure out how to do both.
Yeah, I think so too. I think businesses are starting to figure it out. I think it's just hard.
Well, they're going to die if they don't.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
And they already are. And we're seeing that happen. And I think too, like people, like our generation is changing. Like the workforce has drastically changed compared to what it was when our parents worked, right? Mm-hmm. So our generation wants different things now than what our parents wanted. And our parents wanted security. They wanted stability. They wanted to wake up every morning. They wanted to go to work. They wanted to put their head down, and they wanted to hit 62 years old and retire, which there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's a great plan.
The context of where we were as a society created that. But things are different now. So what you have are all of these businesses, especially technology consulting businesses, that are operating with that understanding of like, this is the way that the world still is.
Yeah.
But now you've got millennials, and now you've got Gen Zers who are very emotional beings. Like we are very emotional, right? We talked about crying a couple episodes ago. And
I don't cry.
Millennials respond totally different. And I think if anything right now, the culture that we're in has started to expose how unhuman business is.
Yeah.
Because people want business to not just be their whole life. They want it to be something that serves their life. They want work to be something that benefits their life, not something that is their life.
100%. I would say that. Well, I'm gonna do a hot take that isn't. I would call it a lukewarm take at this point.
You don't do hot takes. You just you know.
I'm gonna do a hot take.
Yeah.
But I think it's actually. What?
It just you don't just. That's like saying I'm gonna do a basketball shot, and that you just shoot.
That is what you would say. No. So hot take, that's not really a hot take. I think it's actually pretty obvious is that I think that the partner-based consulting model, going back to your thing about business not being human, the generation that was, the generation that is coming in taking over running these businesses, I think that we're going to see the partner model die.
Will you explain what the partner model is? Because
partner model
I think
is
not all of our listeners will understand that. There will be some that do.
Partner model
oh yeah, know what he's talking about.
It's how the largest consulting firms in the world are structured right now, and have been structured for decades. So basically, you come in as a grunt right out of school, like literally they call them campus hires. They go to your school, they recruit you, and you go, oh my god. And back in the day, I'm gonna make $45,000. The day that I graduate.
I remember at one point in my life, $45,000, I would have thought I was the richest person on the planet.
Dude, I made $30,000 when I graduated college, and I thought,
Mama, we made it.
We did it. You know what $30,000 gets you today? Nothing.
Poor. Sorry, that's so mean.
A label.
Yeah.
Anyway, not much is the point. Anyway.
There are homeless people making $30,000 a year. Can I say that?
That's so funny.
They probably got better benefits than some people at some of these corporations.
There are homeless people.
I saw a homeless guy the other day, literally watching YouTube on his cell phone. I'm not even kidding. He literally right down the street from where he was posted up under a tree, just going down a rabbit hole, just watching vids of people not putting their shopping carts back. Like he had his charger, had it plugged in. Like I'm like, who is? Like he's paying for data. Like this is just the world we're in.
Yeah, yeah.
He probably has a gym membership. Like
anyway, here's the point. All the way back. So the consulting model is dying. The partner-based consulting model is dying. Here's why it's dying. Let me tell you why it's dying. In the world that our parents grew up in, they had this. I'm going to paint with broad brushstrokes here, but in the world that they came up in, their parents' generation, was at war. They experienced Great Depression. They experienced war. And Several wars, yeah. And the world was sort of upside down, basically. Everything could go away at any minute. Not a lot of stability, a lot of scarcity, a lot of fear. And so what you have is the boomer generation coming up being raised by these folks with, by and large, a huge emphasis on stability, like you talked about with your dad. And so when you're coming out of college and a company like Deloitte in the 80s or 90s, 70s, whatever era, says to you, hey, we're going to start you at this much, you know, for whatever the time is, it's more than your buddies are making for sure. And then they go, if you stay here for 30 years.
Yeah, they carve this path out for you, right?
It's like
right off the bat.
It's a carrot path.
Yeah.
Every 18 months to 2 years, 3 years, there's a new carrot. Like, hey, you can make 10% more in a couple of years. Just stick around. And then the idea is that you march towards 65 with your head down, and you make partners somewhere along the way in your 40s or whatever, 45, 50, if you're lucky. And you make a couple $100,000 a year, $300,000, $400,000 a year. Obviously, some partners make a lot more.
Which, let me just say, in and of itself, that's not a bad thing to go after.
We're
not knocking people for going after.
Not at all. I'm just explaining why it's dying.
I have friends in these kinds of businesses that, like, you know, they're set, like they're on a path, they're good.
It is a great business.
But they are older, yeah.
I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying this is why it's dying.
It's changing. Yeah, times are changing.
Times are changing. So you have a generation that's like their parents are preaching to them stability, security. Yeah. I remember my grandpa told me the first job I got, he was like, you can have that job for the rest of your life, and you should. And so you have this whole generation going,
your job at the hardware store?
No. It was, I was an admissions counselor. I was like,
at the college.
I don't want to do this. But so.
Not when there's homeless people making more than you.
I don't even have data. I don't have a data plan.
You couldn't even afford data back then. You had a flip phone still. Yeah. This is when iPhone 10s were out.
Don't even get me started on how poor I was growing up. I was so poor I didn't even have a rich friend. That's the truth.
You're so poor. Everyone else you knew was poor.
Yeah. All right, so back to the point. So the
shout out to all the one TV households growing up. You had one TV.
You had a TV?
we had one TV until like later on, and then my dad got a second TV rich. For downstairs. Oh yeah, we did well,
dude.
Shout out Tom.
We got a TV. We got a TV when I was 9. Okay, this was the late 90s when there were nice TVs out there. It was black and white, and it had a rotary dial, and it had bunny ears, and it was 13 inches.
You got a TV from the 50s, bro.
Yeah, dude. I was guys. I grew up poor. That's the moral.
So let's bring it back.
I'm trying to bring it back. Just let me.
You're lobbing them up for me.
I'm trying to make this condensed so that we can just like nail it. Times are changing. The consulting partner model is dying. You have a generation raised by people that emphasize stability. So you come out of college and you go, man, I'm going to get the most stable job. I'm going to march on a path to 65. And when I hit 65, I'll have a few million in the bank and I will be retired. And I will be successful. I'll be retired happy. The problem is, the reason why that's dying is that this generation, by and large, they're not interested in marching towards retirement. They want to do what they want to do now. They want to live purposefully now. They're not waiting their whole life to live when they turn 65.
They want meaning now.
They want meaning and purpose at work now. It's not because they want it at work. Work is just a thing in their lives that is just a tool for them to use to live their real purpose and passion.
And I think it's noble because I think Millennials, Gen-Zers, we want to contribute to the greater good. Mm-hmm. I honestly think at its core, and there's a large study I think done by McKinsey on this about millennials have been mistaken for the selfish generation, but actually millennials are the most empathetic generation. Like, we don't want to just live for ourselves. We don't just want to go after getting as much as possible. We want to have nice things, right? Like, we want to have our avocado toast and go to brunch, but we want to buy shoes that we know is going to like help some kid get out of slavery.
Yeah, Tom's shoes.
That's exactly what it is. And so I think at its core, I think that's noble, and that's different. That's just different than where we've been as a society. And so I think all these things are culminating and this partner model that you're talking about, and this partner model, by the way, it's not just consultancies, it's law firms, it's
creative agencies, large creative agencies.
It's no longer desirable.
It's not desirable. So then the question becomes, well, then what is the model what's the model of the future? How do we attract and retain talent and keep them for a long time?
Yeah.
And the answer is you give them purpose at work and you give them freedom. Those are the two things that you need to keep people around, purpose and freedom.
I think that it's definitely the human way to retain top talent.
Yeah.
You have to give your young people, your talented people, more than just a couple of signs in the break room of your office that talk about your core values. And this is a whole nother topic, and I want to get into it at some point, but to talk about becoming a purpose-driven technology consulting brand. What does that look like?
Yeah, and because if you're not that, over the next decade, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you have the big four, you have the big consultancies, like they will be around because they're big.
Yeah.
It's like big banks. They're not going to fail. But they will certainly lose market share to smaller firms that will grow at a much faster clip than they did. Yeah.
So tying this all together, times are changing. This old ways of doing things are not working anymore. People don't want them. I think it's the human nature of society and of people. We want something different. And as businesses, we have to adapt to what people want now. Like we have to adapt to the way that society is going and realizing that millennials and Gen Zers are going to make up the workforce. How do we change? How do we adapt? It's not just brand and marketing. It's the whole structure of our businesses have to change. People don't want to come into the office.
Well, what about this? This is a problem because if you are a partner at a giant firm, you are incredibly invested in the model because that's how you get paid.
Yeah.
So what gives then? What changes?
I don't know because I'm not a partner in a giant firm.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm railing on partnerships at a giant firm. You might think that if you rolled my backstory, I was denied a partnership at a big firm and now I have an axe to grind. That is not the case. I just think that the lack of humanity that the model creates and the marginalization that it creates on purpose and the humans in proximity to the model, I think that you will see an intolerance build up by and large in society, and something will have to give, and a new model will have to be created.
I don't think there's anything that's like, oh, what will have to happen right now? Like, what should they do? I think actually it's going to happen naturally. Like, it's going to be rejected. People are just going to say no to it.
Well, I mean, if you look at the Great Recession, like after the pandemic, if that's any indication of what we're going to see over the next decade, I mean, there's going to be a big shift coming. So people are forced to stay home, and all of a sudden it's like they wake up out of a coma, and they're like, oh, I like my family. I like riding my bike at night.
Yeah.
I like the sunshine.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah.
I don't want to wait till I'm 60.
I don't want to wait till I'm
walk
60
on the beach
to do
and collect
this.
seashells.
Exactly.
I'd like to do it now. I'd like to go and open my laptop from the beach and get my work done.
Yeah.
And do a great
and then
job.
shut it at 5.
Yes.
And be with my family.
Yes.
And all we're saying is that if you want to be positioned as a tech consultancy with longevity, you got to think about the model that your business is structured. We're structuring our model a little bit different. We can get into that. Maybe not. Yeah. You'll see. But
what would you say the big takeaway for all this is?
The takeaway is this. You have to humanize the model at your company around what people really want at work. Just giving them a committed paycheck that they can count on, which is not even the case. Tech companies are laying off people left and right. But just promising a paycheck and good benefits and a yoga studio on site, that's not going to retain people. The next generation and the generation that's coming in, the transfer of power is happening to, they want more from work. And we're not saying anything that other people aren't already saying. I'm just saying from a creative standpoint, there are ways to solve this problem that you can take advantage of right now.
I want to get right into something here because I think it's really, really vital on how humanizing technology consulting and digital transformation businesses can get really practical. And I think when you look at this at the brand level, there's some really interesting data just around the internal brand DNA of our businesses and how they're wired, specifically around just our brand messaging and vision statements and mission statements. And there's some really interesting data that we use a lot when we're going through this with clients. But basically, businesses with a clear and compelling vision statement perform like 50% better revenue-wise than those that don't. Harvard did this study. Like, it's crazy. So one of the things that we've noticed and seen in auditing all kinds of technology businesses, technology firms, consulting businesses, digital transformation businesses, when we come in and they, like we talked about, they have these leaks where we think we need to redo our website, or we saw one thing that was really crazy. They were having this turnover problem, and like this company, large, multi-million dollar consulting company doing amazing technology stuff, and people were leaving, like their best people were leaving, and they weren't sure what was going on. Like, how do we get our people to stay? We did research, we did an audit, we did, focus groups. And when we boiled it down, like to find the root problem, it was nobody was clear on where the business was going. So the people were literally leaving because they didn't have the clarity on where the business was headed.
Yeah, it kind of creates maybe the same feeling as if you're sitting in a rowboat and somebody else is rowing with one oar and you're going, we're going in circles, but they can't hear you.
Yeah.
And so finally you just jump out of the boat.
Yeah.
I would rather swim.
But this ties in. I'm trying to find this. This ties in. So this is it. Companies with the vision and mission statement grow 4 times faster than a standard business.
Just a statement?
That's the Harvard Business
Review. Oh, that's interesting.
Study.
That feels like a low bar because I've read some statements like our vision is to create a world where we make more money and our mission is making more money.
The bar for humanizing your brand and your business has never been lower for tech companies, I think.
What do you mean by that?
Like it's not science rockets.
Okay. Then tell us how to do it.
Well, that's why we're here. But I want to touch on this thing of like purpose for a little bit because I think it's really, really important. The whole idea of like a vision statement, right? The anatomy of what a good vision statement is. If your company's vision statement is only about profitability and the growth of your bottom line or your business, you're not giving your people, your talented people, something to like get meaning from. Basically what I'm saying is this: talented people want to belong to a business that they feel like is contributing to the world in an empathetic way. There is study after study that now proves this across the board. Millennials, Gen Zers, even people, in between a little older, people want meaning. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to craft internal brand messaging and have a vision and a mission and even the purpose statement that transcends business growth. And this is really hard for left brain people.
Can you break down the anatomy of a great vision, a great mission statement, and a great purpose?
Yeah, well, I'll just give a couple examples here. I'll just pull a couple up because I think it's not, like I said, I don't think this is really hard stuff. Like, I don't think this is hard to do. I think we've made it hard. And I think because of the nature of our businesses, like I talked about, business in and of itself, it's not a human thing. So the language that you use, the anchor language that you use inside your business is one way that you can easily humanize your business and humanize the experience that your people and your market have with your business. And so I'll talk through a couple of these. There's actually some really good examples of great mission statements out there and great vision statements out there, but I just want to touch on this just for a second. So Microsoft, their vision statement is or at one point it was this: a computer on every desk and in every home.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's cool because they're
and
not
that happened at a time when that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
It seems like a foregone conclusion now.
That's an innovative, like, world-changing vision statement that, like, you're trying to get somebody to go leave, like, IBM or another company to come work for you. Like, hey, we are after creating this world. Patagonia, you talked about Patagonia on a previous episode.
Yeah.
We're in business to save our home planet. I mean, that's amazing. Yeah. Like, that's a vision statement that so much transcends revenue. It transcends bottom line. And a lot of the companies, the tech consulting companies that are out there, when you break down their vision statement, it's something about like, do great work.
To do great work and create extreme value for our customers and employees and good equity for our people and shareholders.
So if you're listening to this or watching this, you're probably asking, okay, Brandon and Nate, how do we create a vision statement?
Okay, geniuses, then tell me what it is.
How do we create a vision statement that's like filled with purpose and meaning and rallies people around?
I will say, because like we own a marketing company and our mission is not save the whales. So we can't be Patagonia. We're not donating money to nature causes.
We can.
So short of, no, we can't. So when you're creating a vision for a tech consultancy, that you want to be a rallying cry, and a rallying cry, and you want to make it human, you know, obviously you can't make it this big world-changing thing, but how do you humanize a vision statement for a tech consultancy?
The first thing that you have to do is you have to get the people that are the core of your business. If this is, I don't know what the stakeholders look like. If it's, you have a board, or maybe you have a partner model where there's like 4 or 5 owners of the business,
or an executive leadership team,
team. You have to get everybody in a room, and you have to start with this question. And the question is this: what is the world that we want to leave behind when we're all gone, when this business is gone, or in 100 years from now, or even 10 years from now? What kind of world do we want to leave in the wake of this organism that we've built, that's bringing in revenue and providing jobs for people and changing the world, changing these companies digitally, digitalization, whatever? What is that world that we want to leave behind? And this is the part that's really hard, because you have to think on the humanity scale here. You can't think, well, we want to make sure that we provide shareholder value and shareholder return. And that's not a vision. So it's really simple. The vision, think of a mountain. The vision is the top. Where are we headed? Think about an end goal. We just did a brand audit for somebody a couple weeks ago, and their vision statement was something about awesome experiences. It's not an end state. That's not a place where I'm pulling you in, I'm linking arms with you, and I'm saying that's where we're going.
Yeah.
And young people need clarity. Really, everybody needs clarity. But ask that question: what world do we want to leave behind? How is the world going to be different because we were here? Not how is the bottom line going to be different?
Yeah.
Not how is the bank account going to be different? How is the world going to be different? And this is what's so amazing about digital transformation businesses, is you guys are doing this. Like, they are helping businesses
transform
that are either going to digitalize or die. And the things that they are doing to empower these businesses, whatever industry those are in, are going to literally help the world keep moving.
Yeah.
So don't say, well, we can't really find a deeper human meaning for why we exist, and we're a technical business. No, you can find it. You just have to go a little deeper and find it.
Okay, so let me just play devil's advocate here. I'm the private equity guy funding this company, and my marketing team has hired Forrest, and Forrest is telling us we got to humanize. And I'm going, I made $100 million, and I didn't humanize crap.
Yeah, you could have made 200.
Oh, interesting. So for the skeptics,
Harvard,
out there that are just like, this is softball, you millennials need to be all touchy-feely. I know how to make money hand over fist without giving a rip about anybody's feelings. Sell me on investing a significant amount of money to pull my leadership team together, to mine for what this is. Like, how does it make me more money? How does it actually impact my business day to day? What will I see from investing in this?
I don't think I want to work with you. That's what I'd say. You don't sound very human. You don't sound like you really care.
Wow.
That's what I'd say.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So basically what you're saying is, if you don't create something like this,
I'm saying
people won't.
I'm just saying, me personally, like, if you actually ask me what I would say to that, I wouldn't even try to pitch you on it, because you don't seem like a person that actually cares about humanity. And I value working with companies that actually care about empowering people and not just making money.
No, that's a good point. Okay, so I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'm on the fence. You got my attention, but I have to open my wallet. And mind you, as an investor, this is money out of my own pocket that I'm going to inject into this business to do this. I'm going to spend the money. I just need sold on it.
Yeah, I would say, how important is it to you that everybody on your team and the people that you're currently trying to hire know where they're going? They know where the business is headed. And they know that they belong.
I still don't understand. It's not that important to me, because I don't understand the net impact of them knowing that. What does it matter? I tell them where to go. As an investor, as a CEO, we say, we're gonna start these products. We're gonna open up like this section of our business, and we're gonna do more work in this area. Why do I need a top of the mountain rally?
I'd say, how's your turnover? And you probably say, actually, yeah, like, people leave quite frequently. I'd say, there you go. Yeah. You know what that's costing you?
A lot.
Turnover costs a lot. It's really expensive. You have, like, if you're in the tech consulting space, you have to keep people. And the most talented people on your team, guess what? They're not 60 years old. They're between the ages of 30 and 45. And guess what they want? And I'll give you all the studies if you want to read it. They want meaning and they want purpose. In fact, they will take less money. Here's a study. Like, I'll send it to you, Mr. Bill Butlicker.
Bill Butlicker. Of all the names. It's William.
William
actually.
H. Butler. Like, I'll send you the studies because this is what people want. And I'm not saying you have to make it fluff, but I'm saying this is why Harvard did a study and said businesses with a vision statement grow 4 times faster than those that don't. But the question isn't, do we have a vision statement? It's, is our vision statement the right kind of vision statement? So all I'm saying is this: craft a vision for your business that goes just beyond revenue and gives people clarity about where your business is headed. Even if it doesn't feel fluffy, it's a more human start than not. And we worked with an insurance company. They're in Tennessee. They're awesome. They're called IGA. And the CEO actually had a great vision statement. He said, we want to be the largest privately owned insurance agency in the state by 2030. It was clear and it showed where they were headed. Now, was it super fluffy? No. But he's going to get him there. That's a good start. What I'm saying is, if you can take it a layer deeper, it's that much even more powerful. If you could get to the Patagonia level, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
To impact the personal lives of 10,000.
We're in business to save our home planet.
Yeah.
So we can't get into like exactly how to break it down and do it because we don't have like a specific business sitting in front of us. But the key thing is this: to understand your vision statement needs to be where you're headed as a business and as a brand and the kind of impact that you want to leave on the world. Then you're going to need a mission statement. And a mission statement has to be, this is a really simple way to remember this. If we're looking at the mountain, right? If your vision statement is the top of the mountain where you're headed, your mission statement needs to be the how you get there. They can't be disconnected. They have to be so connected, and you have to say them, repeat them everywhere and get your people to know, well, here's where we're headed and here's how we're getting there. And that's what will make people go, I'd like to get behind you on that.
Yeah.
I would like to come alongside you and help you with that mission. I would like to help you empower these enterprise leaders to overcome this. This is where the storytelling all fits together in vision, in mission, in brand DNA. So you have to have to humanize your brand, you have to start with these things: your vision, your mission statement. If you can come up with like a purpose statement that's maybe like a little deeper, that's awesome. But that's the start. And that's why I'm saying, like, the bar is low. Like, this doesn't require tons of funding. This doesn't require tons of resources. This just requires going a little bit deeper and thinking about the impact you want to make on the world as humans, and then uniting and rallying your people around it.
That's great, man. Thanks for that.
You're very welcome. I'll see you out there.